Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1.5 EU Championship. We're today for the Italian Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the season, and it's all very tight at the top with this man who is leading the championship. Hasn't lost the lead since the beginning of the season, but it's very, very close. 9 points in it. Aston Martin on the other side in the Constructors or the Teams Championship are in a very strong position. Not over yet though, still going to get a few more points on the board. We've only got a few moments of qualifying left to go as everybody start their final few laps of the session. Zingy, this is a difficult circuit, but what's the big factor with the straight line speed here today for racing?
Well, obviously we know for the race, Aaron, it's going to be full wet, so drivers might be compromising to have a bit of a higher downforce setup. We're not too sure. Someone who is, or could be, is Devin Young discussing that before the race. Seeing that it's wet, he might try and take the opportunity that he needs to. He's 9 points behind in the championship, Aaron, with only 2 rounds to go. He needs Peanuts to have a bit of a slip up, because if it's P2 for Peanuts both races, and he doesn't get that fastest lap, that means he'll be champion, and Devin has to respond in some type of way. He's about to start his last qualifying lap. And would you like to take us through this, Aaron?
Yep, we'll go on board with Peanuts, who, first of all, who's had a very good run, and he's actually going to get a very handy slipstream from his teammate as they go down to the first corner. I believe so, as he does pull to the right-hand side. This might look good for pole position, braking as hard as you can into the first corner, missing the curve on the inside a little bit. You kind of want to hit that very slightly, but they managed to keep it nice and smooth, and that's all more important, is you want to get a good exit as you go along the flat section of turn 3 into the second chicane. The run is just crucial. Once again, onto the curb. They don't go to jump over the curb. That's where you gain the most time, but it's the riskiest strategy. Staying high in the gears to keep that traction, that minimum speed up again through the Lesmos as well. Minimum speed absolutely critical to gain that lap time, and they do it very cleanly as well. DRS available and another straight. They've done this very nicely on the exit there, so they should have no problems. Ascari, most notorious corners of the circuit in my opinion. Very difficult to get right, very nice and smooth. Not quite riding the right-hand side curve as they probably would have liked to, but they still managed to get through on the exit. And now we get to the final corner of the lap. Parabolica, what's it going to be here for Peanuts? Looks pretty smooth on the entry, on the exit, bringing it to the left-hand side. There is a car on the exit. He doesn't bring it to the right-hand side, so he's going to miss out on some lap time there. But what's it going to be? For Peanuts, it's going to be a P2. Devin Young crosses the line. What's it going to be for the man in blue? It's gonna be a P8, a 19.8. It will not be enough. I do not believe it. Absolutely incredible. That is gonna be Charlie on pole position by 2/10, the only driver to get into the 18s. He's got the experience from yesterday, and that has paid off. Peanuts in P2 with his fellow countryman sitting in P3. Then we got the second McLaren in P4. Robbo was strong before his crash out yesterday as well, so he should be fighting up the front. It's going to be an interesting one. Very, very interesting. Devin just not quite comfortable. Maybe gone quite drastic on the setup. That could be a thing, Zingy.
Yeah, I noticed for the middle sector it had a lot of downforce, but on the straight it's not reaching nearly enough top speed to be challenging for the front row. So P8 for him at the moment, but I think it's full wet for the race, and that's going to be very impactful, definitely.
For sure. Alrighty, we'll get the results on the screen now. That's Charlie taking pole position, Peanuts in P2 and Beckett in P3. That's the rest of the grid. We'll go through the race director. And what I do know is I think it might be drying up later on in the race if the race goes on for long enough. Will that be the case? I don't know. We'll see if there's any safety cars. We'll see in a bit for the race. Ready? Hold! Go! Who's going to get it flying into the first corner? Charlie, will he get away well in the wet conditions? It looks like it's going to be Peanuts challenging quite nicely. He has the inside line. He'll have the advantage. Will he be able to hold on? They're on the mediums. They are on the dry tyres in wet conditions. That's absolutely incredible. I do not believe what I'm seeing. They seem to be getting through it quite nicely, so they've all made some different choices. Is that bad news for Devon Young? It looks like it might be, but he's made himself some very good positions. He's right at home immediately with that downforce. He's making use of it while he can. To P6, that's going to be Charlie and Robbo.
Yeah, going side by side through the second chicane. They made a bit of contact, and that's going to allow Charlie to be put under pressure by Tom Brainer. He's going to get the switchback coming into the second Lesmo, but it looks as though Robbo's made some type of mistake. He's been dropped behind Charlie. Now Tom Brainer's looking at the move at him. There's Devon Young off! Devon Young spun! He's spun coming out the second Lesmo. He's going to make sure he does not go on the track. He's last place, but he's managed to keep it out of the wall, thankfully. He's going to be absolutely miles behind, but that's exactly what he didn't need in the championship fight with Peanuts up in P1.
He's up in P1 by a bit of a distance as well. Does this mean we're going to get dry conditions throughout this race?
Terrence round.
Clearance rounds, that is not ideal for the constructors. A virtual safety car is deployed. He's luckily stayed in the race. I think Devon's going to get past. He does get past as Terrence goes off the circuit. He'll get a new front wing, Terrence. He might be able to get it under the virtual safety car conditions if he gets a move on. It'll be interesting to see what tyre he goes for as well. But yeah, that's an interesting one. And unless Aston can try and recover that, then it might be that the constructors, although very difficult mathematically or theoretically, mathematically it would still be possible for the others to try and take a win for the championship. But now Peanuts, 1.7 seconds away, and he is once again racing with Devon Young in P11. No damage, but a mile behind.
Yeah, Devon with that spin, of course, struggling a lot. You would expect a bit more grip from the Red Bull for dry tyres. Someone who seems to have a lot of grip is Cookie Monster going down the inside of Haj, coming into the second chicane, and though Haj holds it off very well, a nice little move from him, and that's him up into P7, obviously a higher tier driver, so he'll try his best not to interfere too much. But he's got Matt Merckx up next, and on that soft tyre, along with Matt Merckx and Stefano, you expect them to make a lot of early progress in the rain.
And for sure as well with the soft tyres, that's one thing, but also softer tyres work better in colder conditions, so the likes of the mediums and the hards won't work as well regardless in these colder track temperatures, so they have that added benefit as well. That is going to be Cookie Monster having grip to not having grip. On the exit he's going to lose out, and he might get a big run here for Stefano to make that move, maybe. Snilly will be able to get through, but he's not. He's just going to have to wait behind, and then we'll see how that one goes. But that is Beckham making a bit of progress back on Peanuts, but still just having to wait behind. No DRS right now, even though we're on dry tyres.
Yeah, it's enabled now, as you can see Devon Young setting the fast lap, so showing that it has got pace, and it's going to be interesting because the lap times are going to be much slower, maybe about 4 or 5 seconds a lap slower than what you'd see on the pure dry tyre, but it's not enough for the intermediates because they will just overheat and they will burn up and have a lot of wear, so you really need to be careful in these conditions. DCI is obviously being very skilled to keep it out of the wall at the moment. Charlie looks as though he might be a bit under threat from Robbo as he's dropping out with DRS like we saw in the F1 race. Obviously very different circumstances, but Robbo seems to have that pace from yesterday. He's going to try and use it to get a double podium for McLaren.
For sure, it would be good. He had awesome pace, so did Beckham, so both McLarens in a very strong position to try and maybe beat Red Bull in the team's championship, as they were previously the leaders, Red Bull, but not having a double duo to fight for the points has lost them out. Now Robbo gets a phenomenal exit. That is awesome right there on the exit of Ascari, but he's not going to be in a position to make a move, so he's just going to have to sit there and wait. Charlie still goes slightly defensive, compromising his run, exactly what Robbo wanted. He can focus on the exit, but doesn't quite get it down, and Charlie for the moment will still be able to hold on. Did he get DRS though?
Yeah, I think Robbo did get DRS. Charlie not, unfortunately. That's going to be a very easy move from Robbo. Nearly hitting 220 miles an hour on the straight, down the inside of the Mercedes into one. He needs to be careful on the brakes, but he's done that to perfection, and that's Robbo turning, well, from what it seemed like a hopeless move into something, and that's him up into P3.
That is very good, and that is Charlie almost finding the wall right there, losing a bit of traction, but not much time, so they're good to go. It looks like Hush's made his way up the order as well, but those soft tyres don't seem to be working as maybe they would have been looking to work. That is all over the place with that speech. That is a bit of lag, and that is Devon not going to be able to get past the Dane. He's going to have to sit behind for the moment, but he's going to try and get a switch back, which he didn't quite plan too well. Might have a bit of damage. The contact that he had in Abu Dhabi was enough. That was a bit of a harder hit, but no, he's going to have to wait behind the nuts yet again. Lag. So Snully having a bit of an issue, and Devon not able to find a way through yet.
Devon perhaps being a bit desperate. From what I can see here, I think he needs at least 5th place in order for the championship to go to Brazil. And at the moment, he's only battling for 9th. That spins a really cost him. Although there is someone off, that is Hige. Hige's on the soft tyre, seems to be making a mistake. Perhaps pushing a bit too hard, getting over the curb. And that is him down into P8. Devon Young will be loving that, seeing a car up in front making a mistake on that soft tyre, because there's 3 of them right in front of him, and if the soft tyres are struggling to wear perhaps, maybe that will give him a chance of getting back into the fight.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, even though they're on dry condition tyres, Devon has to try and hope that it still rains and these tyres keep nice and wet. From what we saw in qualifying, it looks like he is on a higher downforce setup. Whether that's the truth or not, we don't quite know, compared to the others, of course, relative, but we'll see. That's what it seems to be at the moment. He's making good progress on Heischler. Might be able to work together with Heischler and get some DRS and maybe make some more progress to the cars in front, but with the cars in front being in a massive train of 4 cars, that's going to be very tough to compete with. And also Tom Brainer in no man's land.
Yeah, Peanut seems to not be dropping anyone by any stretch of the imagination. He was 1.5 seconds in front before the VSC came out. Unfortunately for him, the timing of it has made sure that Becken and Robbo are in DRS. Charlie, of course, lurking as well. But Becken's going to be looking to get that overtake done in the compatriot. I mean, how many races has he won this year? I'm not too sure. Let's let me see Devon going for the move, but I'm sure Becken's not won as much as we would have expected, no?
No, hasn't. He won last time around in Abu Dhabi. Is that right? Anyway, he got a P2. No, he didn't win last time around in Abu Dhabi. Sorry, he won. I think maybe last race it was before. So the Netherlands Grand Prix, the Dutch Grand Prix. But he got a P2 here yesterday in the F1 race. Of course, there was a lot of drama in that one, but he still had phenomenal pace and was right up there. He'd probably got some pretty good tyre data as well for the situation, which was always good for him to know, and he's going to bring that into today's race, hoping to fight for the championship at the start. Didn't quite work out. That is going to be corner cutting for Matt Merckx.
Matt Merckx having a lot of front locking into turn 1 and that time off the track with a time penalty. Devon Young obviously past Hige, and he's going to be looking in that 7th place anytime soon. These two struggling on the soft tyres, perhaps wear getting to them, and although wear is much less in the wet conditions, it still gets to the soft tyres a lot, so these two are going to be struggling as well as Hige, who had that mistake earlier on. So I won't be surprised if we can see Devon getting up into that top 6 where he needs to be, and if so, he'll have that confidence to fight up for the field. But these guys are, what, 12 seconds out in front compared to Devon, so he's got a lot of fighting to do, and he needs to have a lot of pace with that higher downforce.
Yep, it's a lot of fighting, but with the conditions that we're under, there is a very likely chance of a safety car. It's just a recipe, isn't it? That's going to be Becken going for the lead of the Grand Prix into Parabolica. An interesting place to go for that move. But as I was saying, the safety car could definitely come out, and that would mix things up. That would probably be brilliant for Devon Young's race, but he's got another car to try and pass here. Will we see Peanuts regain the position to go to first place at the end of the straight? I don't think he's going to get it. For a slipstream train purpose, he will move back to the racing line, and the other McLaren will just sit there and watch, not able to get anything on that. They almost lost DRS themselves. That is going to be both the AlphaTauris in the pit lane, and Heischler's regained the position on Devon Young here.
Yeah, Hige getting that good run out the last corner. Everyone battling, but Hige's just gone off the track actually. He's locked the rears, and Devon Young's going to have that position nicely. Stefanios went onto the wet tyre, funnily enough. If it starts raining much worse than what it is, I can see why that's working, but it's not even intermediate tyres, I wouldn't say. Both AlphaTauris on the wet's taking a gamble here.
Yeah, I think maybe if this is the case, they're looking for the wet conditions coming in later and trying to jump that or skip the intermediate phase, but I'll be honest with you, it's probably not worth it because the amount of grip consistency that you get and the lap time you get as well from a correct tyre. As you can see, Matt Merckx just completely misjudging what this tyre can do. Yeah, it's probably better to go for that Inter if that's the one that's suggested. Charlie not in DRS anymore. Robbo's right behind, putting the pressure here on Peanuts. Peanuts still very close.
It's both McLaren's making a mistake out the final corner there. Peanuts got a nice smooth run, and that's going to allow him to get back up into the lead, no bother whatsoever. But perhaps there might be some method to the madness of these guys on the wet tyres. I'm seeing a lot of people lose the back end, and the rain looks like it's getting worse only a little bit. But perhaps it could be time for Inters anytime soon, which would save Devon's race, and perhaps he would be able to get up into that top 5. And although the championship's looking impossible right now, he's still got all the chance with 20 laps to go to try and salvage something.
For sure, he for sure does. We've got Heisler behind this time. He's not going to be close enough to make a move, and Devon will be ahead fully. That was very close to contact in the braking zone though, so they're very lucky to stay out of that one. As you can see, as Zingy said, the track is getting wetter and wetter, and that's what we just saw right there. So Devon's waiting to get onto that wetter tyre. Whether they'll make the right call or not, according to some people's radar, it's wet tyres, but to others it might be intermediates, and that's usually how it goes. So we'll see. The front runners are coming towards the final sector now.
Yeah, it's very, very tricky up in the top. Charlie, of course, losing DRS. He might be just struggling with consistency in these very tricky conditions, so I don't blame him. The two McLarens putting Peanuts under a lot of pressure, and I don't know, it's very interesting at the moment. People are going onto the wet tyres, of course, but it doesn't seem to be the right call. But with the lap time seemingly getting slower, perhaps it's not too late to maybe change onto that Inter, even with the DRS still being enabled, and someone could gain a lot of time. Someone who is Beckham into turn 1. Peanuts is just gonna let him go into turn 1. He's not going to battle him. He's wanting to get that gap out to everyone behind him, and with rear locking like that, he's not going to have a good time with things, losing the car a little bit and damaging the tyres as he's doing so.
Yeah. To be honest, don't think he's worrying about damaging the tyres too much, because I assume they are going to be going into the pit lane. But what I am very concerned about at the moment is, as we see Hush go into the pit lane for those soft tyres, so he is making that move. Let's see what he goes for. Intermediates, as we expected. But as I was wanting to say, the McLarens, they are showing the same pit box. So it's not going to be the greatest situation for them at the moment, and they might block each other if they're not careful. So they really need to try and make this decision count. Who's going to go first and who's going to go second? That's going to be Terence retiring eventually after a second issue for this man, as he retires on Parabolica. Safety car is deployed, and that is going to be everyone going into the pit lane, all to Inters, surely.
I don't know, it is looking wetter, but I'm trying to check the goodness gracious, the lap times. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be anyone who set laps on Inters. The wet tyres were horribly slow, must I say. They were about 20, maybe 15 seconds a lap slower, but yeah, I don't know, it's going to be very tricky. You can see the rain still lashing down, and it's going to be like that for a good while. Beckham elects to pit along with everyone else. Robbo now spinning coming into the pit lane and breaking the speed boards, and it looks as though no one is going to stay out. I mean, it's the logical decision. Someone who does get a lifeline in the championship is Devon Young, who will be pitting for, depends what tyre. It looks as though everyone's going hard to the top 3, yeah. Charlie's went for intermediates, Aaron. Charlie's on the intermediates.
I'm wondering, right? I am wondering that maybe they were hoping to go for the Inters, and then what has happened is the game has put them on a medium hard, and it's put them on the hard tyre anyway. But Devon's done it, Tom's done it. I maybe see Sniller doing it as well. I don't really know what's going on here. The strategy is all over the place. He's also gone for the hards. So these guys are hoping to go to the end of the Grand Prix on these tyres, regardless at this stage from what we've seen. It could be good for Devon, but these hard tyres, they're going to be brutal. They're going to be so cold, they're going to be wet, they're going to be way worse, way worse than the medium tyres, even more so than they would have been in the dry conditions. So they're going to have a very hard time right here. Charlie, I think he can definitely make this work. This could be very good for his race.
Well, they're in the hands of the gods now, definitely. Charlie is on that enter. He's taking that risk. Charlie does like to take a lot of risks. He likes to be proactive. He doesn't like to wait for people around to make his decision. He likes to do it first. And on that intermediate tyre, he's taking a massive gamble. The rain consistently coming down as it was before. And perhaps it is getting a bit wetter. We've seen more people throughout the stint making mistakes. And of course, tyre wear is going to be a factor. But do you reckon that it is getting worse? Just a little bit, but not enough for the wet at the intermediates. I can see that being a possibility, but I don't know. Charlie's decision seems a bit rash.
Obviously, it's not wet enough for DRS to be disabled, so in that regard, yes, hards should be in theory correct to do so. Consistency and initial lap time wise, I think Charlie should have it. But also, if they can get themselves into the front of the field and maybe create a bit of a gap, they can then go for that medium tyre, which if it does start to dry up, they as we assume, they should then be able to kind of get a nice undercut, because tyres are a big factor around the circuit, even more than you would have really thought so, as we saw yesterday. So a fresh set of tyres could be good, but that's Heischler going on to a fresh set of inters. That's very strange. I don't think he was meant to do that.
Maybe just getting an extra few percentage, or he tried to move back to the dries and it's just misjudged it. I'm not too sure, but he's stuck with that now. The safety car should be coming in this lap. If everyone catches up, it will be a bit difficult. As Tom Brain has left the session, I'll try and get him back in there.
Awesome, thank you. Alrighty, we will not be going racing at the end of this lap. We might, depending on how everyone will be, because we'll have a couple of cars that will definitely catch up ultimately. The Formula 1 car is a lot quicker, even in the wet conditions, than a safety car. But we'll see how this one goes. It's going to be dry versus wet condition tyres. I am very, very excited to see how this one goes. I think Charlie should be on having an absolute field trip. Will they be able to get the job done? It's not going to be so easy. Overtaking is a different level in wet conditions. Very tricky to get by with. That is, I just want to have a quick look. It was a ghost car. So that's Tom Brainer, of course, who is disconnected, as we said. Hopefully he can get back in before we go for a restart. Don't think we're going to get a restart, so he will, luckily for his sake, be good to go and not lose any positions, or probably ERS, because I assume an AI car shouldn't use any energy under safety car conditions.
Yeah, obviously having that internet connection issue, he should be able to get back in P5 at the moment for Tom Brainer. Obviously the first driver who's behind an intermediate runner. It'll be interesting on the restart. The thing is, Charlie, no matter what, will be more consistent than these guys, but it's whether he's faster or not is going to be the tricky telling point. As of course, the inters are going to cope better. It's going to be very easy to drive, but there's going to be a point where they either overheat or it just doesn't have the pace. And I think if he can weather the storm of that just for like 3-4 laps, he'll have close enough to a pit stop's advantage if it does become wetter. And if that is the case, Charlie could be on for his first win. Very outlandish, of course, but he's got to try these things when he's not directly in the fight and the pace does seem to be lacking.
He's definitely looking for that one, as he's been waiting for it for such a long time, missing out on a few occasions. Yesterday, on the hard tyres, that kind of ruined his race. This time he's tried to stay away from the hards. Whether it'll be a good strategy or not, we'll have to wait and see. But Tom Brainer, it was a PC crash actually, not internet, so hopefully he can get back in, but I think he wouldn't have received the invite immediately, so he might need another one. I do apologise, Zingy, for that. Now he's restarted his PC, I assume he'll be able to actually receive a invite compared to before, but we'll see how that one goes. We will be getting a restart whether Stefano likes it or not. At the end of this lap, Becken will be leading the Grand Prix and Peanuts will be in P2 reacting to the race leader. Let's see how this one goes. And Devon Young is right there in P6. This is going to be very interesting. Will Tom Brainer be able to join in on time for the race? We'll have to wait and see. The safety car comes into Parabolica now. There's still a ghost car in between Devon and that is Charlie, of course, but we'll see. Anyway, here we go. Safety car comes into the pit lane around about now. When will he go for it? Any point is possible. and he puts the throttle down very, very smoothly, and it works out nicely. Peanuts reacts okay, but Robbo reacts even better. He's right behind that Aston Martin, might be looking to go for the move into the first corner, bit too far back in the wet conditions. I don't think he'll have a go. It's going to be Charlie though, who is the one to watch. Will they try and get anything done? Further behind is all a little bit difficult. Devon makes the move. That is going to be Snuller and Heisler side by side on the exit. It's very, very close. The AlphaTauri tries to get involved. It's not going to work out. Robbo and Charlie though, they are so close.
Yeah, Charlie seems to have a lot of grip at the moment. Robbo going down the inside of Peanuts. He can't make the move stick. Charlie's going to be looking for the switchback. And look who's here. Stephen Young from spinning out. He's right there in the battle. He needs to watch it for these guys. So as Beckett streaks away in P1, Peanuts is put under a lot of pressure. And Charlie looking for the move. He just can't seem to do anything at the moment. The pace of the Mercedes is incredible on those intermediate tyres. And perhaps the track is getting worse, Aaron. And he could maybe get into P2. But Robbo's there. And with the straight line speed of that McLaren, he can't really get past easily.
It's very difficult. That's going to be Devon losing the car. He loses the rear. He's going to go completely off the circuit, and it's going to be a very close call as Tom Brainer's right there. Do you have a few words to say about that one? Possibly. I think he's just about got away with it though, as Devon. That is going to be an attempt from Charlie. He gets past the Aston. He's looking to get past the first McLaren to try and lead the Grand Prix. Robbo just getting himself a time penalty, and they're going to go down the straight. He's got to use all of the energy. He's got to make this tyre work. He's got no choice to do otherwise. It's going to be a braking contest into the first corner, and fair play to Robbo. He's actually been able to compete very well despite being on a slick tyre. That is incredibly impressive from him, and Charlie, he's going to have to try and find another opportunity to get by here.
And that's Schnuller out. Schnuller's made a mistake, and I think that's another safety car. Yes, it is. Lap 14, and there's one more safety car out of the collection. It's McLaren 1-2, sorry. Robbo going awfully slow there coming into the second chicane. And yeah, so Becken's advantage is wiped out. Fortunately enough for him, it's a McLaren 1-2. Peanuts drops to 4th out of all that, and Devon is going to be loving this. He's only 2 places, sorry, off of his championship rival, and if he can get a good restart like he did last time and overtake Tom Brainer, it could be possible for him to get back into this championship fight.
It could be. There's some interesting stuff happening on with the AlphaTauri of Max, I believe, because he's got now no front wing to his car, so he's made contact under safety car conditions, it looks like. Hopefully he can get that fixed and be good to go. Now, what I'm wondering from everyone's choice of going onto the hard tyre was because they were under safety car conditions, the race is going to go on a little bit longer. We've been told that it's probably going to be dry towards the end of the Grand Prix. And they're trying to say, okay, you know what, it's going to be dry at the end, why don't I just put on this slick tyre and try and take it all the way to the end. Now they're definitely going to be looking for that. That's going to be Charlie staying out yet again on these tyres. He's really looking to try and make this work. It could still work quite nicely. Zingy, is this too early for a set of mediums?
No, this is perfect time for the medium air, and 12 laps. I mean, you usually do 12 or 13. Unfortunately, Cookie Monster is going to get held. I think it's a bit of lag there by Devon. He gets out the box fine. I'm a bit confused. Both of them in the box? I don't know what's happened. Devon's still P7. I think there's a bit of lag there. Yeah, no, he is coming out. Tom Brainer on that on that soft tyre, sorry, going aggressive once again. He did do that in the F1 race to try and get some data for today. Of course, the circumstances are much different to what they are now, but Tom Brainer on that soft tyre, and I did say, Aaron, it is a little bit less wary on the tyres in the wet conditions. So has Tom Brainer thought about that, seen the data, and thought to go for a soft tyre?
It could be possible, and if he has done it, fair play, well done indeed to think about that. It's definitely still a bit of a gamble, because if everybody's in the same situation, then, you know, it's all just about getting the job done on track. But if you're taking a different kind of strategy, it can still be a risk, even if you think it's the right decision, and there's facts behind it. Whether it'll be enough or not, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm very, very intrigued to see why Charlie and Stefani have stayed out on this intermediate tyre. For the fact, of course, Max having to pit again anyway. He's, interestingly, and so is Heisler, pitted onto a second set of intermediate tyres, or Heisler, third set of intermediate tyres. So very strange to get that pit stop situation. I'm completely confused, to be honest. Every tyre on the screen right now, we've had all colours of the rainbow. That's going to be Tom Brainer dropping down the order.
Brainer back into the pits once again. What tyre will he go on to? It doesn't look like he's pitting for a front wing change, so maybe just going on to a newer set of softs, giving out that track position, and that allows Devon to get up into P6, 2 places off Peanut still. But you've got Stefano and Charlie on that intermediate tyre, and if reports are accurate, it will become drier towards the end of the race, so it could be very, very interesting that we might have Charlie and Stefano pulling away at the start, but towards the end of the race, we're going to see them go back into the clutches of the medium tyre runners, so we've got 11 laps to go when the safety car comes in, which hopefully should be this lap. And do you think the intermediate tyres have a good chance, or do you reckon it's a bit too late to pull away?
Look, Charlie's leading. He's got clean air. He has got absolute everything that he needs right now to lead on the restart, and if he can get a good reaction as well from himself compared to the other guys, then they've got an amazing chance at winning this Grand Prix and creating enough of a gap to have the advantage later on. I would still say that probably, according to what we know for strategy and weather-wise, Beckham probably has a very strong position at winning this race, of course. We'll see how that one goes. I think we're probably going to get quite a late call in, unless we don't get a call in at all, and we'll continue to go around again. Now, what I wanted to quickly jump on was Tom Brainer. So he's pitted again. He's trying to go to a fresh set of softs, try and give himself the best chance to have the freshest amount of wear, although that was somebody losing their front wing. I don't know who that was. That was Tom Brainer. So he's actually gone and lost his front wing instead, so he's going to go back into the pit lane regardless. Luckily for him, we're not going to be going in. But yeah, he's just quickly choosing the tyres that he's going to go on for. That is going to be Stefano in, so he's not really too sure about his strategy at the moment, and he's going to follow what his teammate has just done potentially. Now, what I wanted to say was Tom Brainer probably looking to go for some fresher soft tyres, trying to have a best chance at getting to the end of the Grand Prix, and yeah, when it kicks in, when it's dry, then they'll be good to go. They've got one more set of fresh tyres, it seems. Is that fresh? I think that's probably an old set. It just says 0 on it.
No, it's fresh.
It is fresh. Okay, so he's got another fresh set of tyres. So he is really looking to go to the end of the Grand Prix. He can do it. It's going to be so difficult. If he gets a puncture, I don't think he would, but the tyres will be so bad that even if you don't have a puncture at Monza, if the tyres are really that bad, it just basically feels like you have a puncture. I've been there myself. Igor had it yesterday, which lost him a fight for the podium. So it's really...
Not have that swim.
Say again?
Pursoon had a puncture
yeah,
on the back straight.
Yeah, they did, but Igor didn't have a puncture. It was just the tyres were that bad that it basically felt like a puncture, whereas Pursoon did actually have a puncture. Now, Charlie leads the way. He is the only intermediate tyre. Becken is going to be happy that he's only got one intermediate tyre in front of him. Tom Brainer's got a little bit to do to try and catch up to the cars in front, but because everybody will slow down to bunch up, he should be good to go. Heischler and Charlie, the only ones on these intermediate conditions. We've got a couple of soft tyre runners, everyone else on that safe medium tyre. It should be the tyre to go for, should be pretty good. Obviously, the inters and the softs will be pretty pacey at different stages compared to the mediums. The mediums should be quick, more or less, all round. Will it be enough, though? We will find out very shortly. The safety car comes around the final corner and will enter the pit lane in a few seconds' time. Charlie can go at any point. He's got the stronger tyre on the exit. They get the job done. And it's just going to be a straight line for them. They almost lost the car, and luckily they will hold on to that one, and that is going to be Peanuts sitting in P3 with a lot of pressure as Robbo is looking like he might try and go for it. That's going to be Devon Young right behind going defensive for Heischler as he's trying to hold on to his positions as well.
Oh, there's Cookie Monster around, try and make the move on Hige, and he's just spun around there on the soft tyre, and there was not a move on there. And yeah, that's the unfortunate thing with these wet weather conditions on the dries. As soon as you lock a tyre, you'll be going round, and that is now him down at P10. Robbo not really looking for a move into the second chicane. Charlie seems to have okay pace at this current moment in time, Beckham dipping a little into the gravel, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time. But it looks so overall, he does have more pace in the car. Charlie losing the back end as I'm saying that, and it looks so, yeah, that inter runner is going to be struggling so much with Beckham making a mistake because he just couldn't overtake him. He got so close to the rear end that he just washed out so wide. I think for him, there's not going to be any battling, but it's, yeah, for Charlie it looks very dire at the moment, and unless he's got some great defence up his sleeve, I don't see how Charlie could win this race.
Whether they will be able to do it, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously in this game the intermediate tyres do seem to have a lot more kind of tyre wear compared to the previous games, and it affects the lap time a lot more, so that intermediate tyre is going to be slow for a wet tyre. Should have been quick, but we're only going to get drier throughout this race. Towards the end, towards the final laps, we have been told that it is very likely to be bone dry, and Charlie, all of a sudden, they're going to look at losing the leads. They're still not trying to make it happen. They're still just trying to get it on the traction, but on the traction it will not be, and that is going to be P2 for them, just trying to hold on to everything they possibly can. I think they just got to dive onto the soft tyre before they lose even more time, but they're going to try and attack again to the inside, but they have to back out, and they didn't back out enough, a bit too tentative, no confidence, and then they end up making contact. That's what happens right there, and he's very lucky that he's got away with that one.
All bunched up here in the battle for P2. It looks as though Beckham's already flying away. Peanuts has a lot of battery up his sleeve, and he's going to be using that to overtake Charlie. I don't think he's going to make it too difficult. He's not got the pace anymore. He's not going to use the battery. Peanuts up into P2. Robbo's going to look for it as well. Going around the outside into Ascari, you can see visibly the track is not wet anymore, and it looks as though Charlie's... This is his downfall, unfortunately, for him. If you're losing the back end a bit, Devon needs to get through right now. Otherwise, Peanuts is going to get away. Down the inside of Charlie's going to go, and that's him up into P4. He should be able to make it on the brakes. Charlie is going to be put under pressure by Hige now on the intermediate tyre as well. It looks as though he's got no grip. Tom Brain up the inside of both of them, coming in out of Parabolica, and that's him up into P5. Those soft tyres working well as DRS is now enabled for the third time this race. Hige is going to look for the move once again, but he can't seem to get it on the straight line speeds. Coming into turn 1, Tom Brainell, will he be able to outbrake the Alfa Romeo? Yes, he will. Look at the grip that soft tyre has, and it stopped raining, Aaron.
That is awesome. That is awesome for Tom Brainer, and Heichler is only going to go backwards, as Charlie did. Went into the pit lane, so well done to them to react. Now they will score points. They'll score P9 points at the moment, because Heichler is a higher tier driver, so they're still looking for something on the board right now. We'll see how that one goes, of course, but it's all very difficult. It is a McLaren 1-2. Beckham getting that move done, getting himself a bit of an advantage, but not enough that now DRS is available for the Brit in P2, and he is going to be looking to try and get another win, at least on track. Of course, he's got that time penalty, which is going to be very interesting for his race.
Yeah, the top four kind of moving away from everyone else at the moment. Devon, the last of that top four, he's had an up and down race, really, and now he's only 4 tenths behind Peanuts. He needs to make the move, doesn't he, Aaron? He's got that 9-point difference not in his favour, and if he can make a move which puts him only, even if it's only 2 points less behind, that could be very important coming into Brazil. The two McLarens are going to be leading and definitely working together, as we see Robbo not really challenged by Beckham into turn 1. He's going to let him go. If Robbo's got the pace, he will pull away from his teammate, and he could use that as a type of not a slingshot, but just to help him pull away from everyone else. As Peanuts is 8 tenths behind them.
For sure, these guys should be working together quite nicely, and of course Robbo has got that time penalty, so he's effectively got nothing to lose and everything to gain, so he might as well go absolutely full pelt and use everything they can, and then Robbo's just going to be sat right, Beckham's going to be sat right behind just in case, and of course if they get DRS of Robbo, it's going to mean that Peanuts just can't overtake. The defensive masterclass from a DRS train is just so impossible to come against, but as you can see, Robbo showing the pace that they had yesterday that they weren't able to quite show, and now they are unleashing it, and they're going to be looking to try and just carry the rest of the field. I assume for their sake, they're hoping that they can break away from the rest of the field, but it looks like it's probably not going to be, because the nature of the circuit, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of straight lines.
Yeah, well, I'm just noticing that some parts of the track are still a little bit damp coming on that back stretch before Parabolica. And somewhere in the second sector, I don't remember exactly where, but it's still a bit damp, so it's going to be very difficult for these drivers to make moves. Going offline could compromise the traction and the grip that they have. Becking into one, he's not going to look for the move on the teammate, getting very close to the rear end, locking up as he does so, just trying to avoid him if anything else. Devon struggling about 9 tenths behind. He doesn't seem to have that raw pace that we've seen of him within through the whole season, really. Maybe he has went for that high downforce, as we've alluded to this whole race, and Charlie setting the fastest lap, showing how fast he could have been if it wasn't for that terrible strategy.
For sure. It's a very tough situation for many drivers. The pressure is on. It's the penultimate race of the season. My heart's pounding, and I'm not even driving a car. It's very, very tight for sure. Robert leads the way only by 2 tenths, as Becken is doing a great job to hold on to the back of his teammate. Now, Peanuts, he's still got a lot to do, but if what we are saying is true and Devon is on a higher downforce setup, we don't quite know that, but as you can see from like what's going on track, it looks like that. Peanuts probably isn't really worrying as much, although that being said, they're basically on even energy deployment, more or less, so they're actually quite equal. And yeah, Devon's probably not pushing as much as we think, and he's just sitting behind and waiting for this to happen. Now Becken's too close to not make a move this time.
Yeah, these two switching once again. They need to watch it for Peanuts though, who has closed the gap, and as well as Devon, he's starting to really use that downforce to his advantage whenever he does, just whenever he can, and it has shown in the middle sector. He has gained a lot of time using a bit of VRS2, of course, to counteract the top speed deficit, but it's not over for any of these top four. Tom Brain, of course, in P5, losing a lot of time on that really old soft tyre, and these four are separated by just about a second, so anything can happen within these last 5 laps. And with the championships on the line, especially the constructors as well, with the Aston Martin, I don't think they'll be able to get it today, but if they can get that solid podium, it will be in their hands definitely come Brazil.
Yeah, it's this result as it stands without time penalties would probably put McLaren into P2, I believe, but it'd be virtually impossible to win the team's championship, if I'm correct. I may have calculated it wrong, to be honest, but I believe it would be almost impossible to win the team's championship, of course. Now, Peanuts sitting in that P3 spot. He was hoping to at least get one done, but it doesn't really matter to him. It's so much closer in the other side that he's basically leaving the team's championship up to fate. He's looking like he's going to go for the move here on Robbo. Is it going to be possible? He's got a car in front, so he can't outbrake himself too much. Robbo's just going to slot him behind. Lap 24 of the 27, was that too early of a move?
No, that's probably not the perfect time, but it's better than what it would have been if it was the last lap and him overtaking, because then he'd have to get 2 moves done. So putting himself into P2, Robbo's not one for giving up. We know that for a fact. He's going to be aggressive to try and get that position back. And with that penalty, he's not really helping himself, but his teammate more than anything, try and get that race win. I don't know if these two are communicating between each other, but Peanuts is now in between the two of them, and that's going to make stuff very complicated for not only him, being Robbo, but Devon Young also, who's again falling back a little bit, so it's a bit inconsistent the pace from him at the moment. But if he can just stay within DRS and these guys start battling like hell, then Devon's got all the opportunity he needs to get a good result.
That's for sure. It's going to be crunch time within a couple of laps now. It's not long to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Robbo's so close to the back of Peanuts right here. Devon sitting P4 in the train. The DRS is virtually useless for him, so that's what you can see. That's why they are dropping back so fast. They're just hoping that when it gets to push and shove on the last couple of laps, it will change massively. Robbo's looking to go for the double overtake. He finds a way in the middle of the circuit, just about. I thought he wouldn't have found it, but no, he does. The two Swedish drivers looking to make moves. Becken doesn't end up progressing regardless. I should say Peanuts, but Becken has lost 2 positions instead, and Robbo's gained 2. Devon Young sits behind. He can't do anything about it at the moment. Just hold DRS and hope that something happens here.
Again, this is very beneficial for Peanuts, keeping that P2, and with someone ahead of him who's got a penalty, legit or not, he could be looking for the race win here, and that could almost put the nail in the coffin in the championship. Of course, the maximum points after this race will be 21, and with Peanuts getting that, is it 16, 14, and 12, Aaron? If I'm not wrong.
2016, 14, 12, 10, yeah. 10 for Tom Brainer, so.
So it would be a 4-point advantage. That'll up the gap to 13 points with 21 on offer for the last race. And if Beckham can't seem to find his way through at the moment, then it's almost it's giving one hand on the trophy to Peanuts. Devon's obviously not going to say that. He's going to try his hardest to really get past these two come the end of the race. There's 2 laps to go after this one. Coming onto the straight now, Devon gets a good run, a bit of lag for the McLaren of Beckham. Devon will go for the move. I think he just wants to pressurise the McLaren. Peanuts, on the other hand, is going to go right around the outside of Robbo into turn 1, and that's going to be him up into first place.
Absolutely perfect, or was it? I don't quite know. Luckily for his sake, Robbo has the time penalty, so if Robbo does go for the re-overtake, it might not be so bad, but as we saw on the previous lap, the double overtake is very, very real. As long as the other cars get a good exit, we could see Robbo and Becken both overtaking Peanuts, maybe Devon if he's even close enough. Now, Peanuts, he did this yesterday. He went for the overtake a little bit earlier because he was confident in his pace that he'd be able to break away. And as you can see, he's got a 4-tenth gap compared to what everyone else has. But I don't think DRS is going to really allow that one to slide. Robbo's going to catch up here, and it is going to be all to play for as we go down the final straight. I don't really want to watch, to be honest. I would like to quite close my eyes and wait for the result, but here it goes, Zingy.
Yeah, coming on to the last lap, these 4 are separated by 8/10 of a second. Even if that, I think it might be 6. Look how close they're all getting into Parabolica. Hopefully no contacts made between any of them. Robbo's going to set himself up for a phenomenal run at the last corner. He's got the DRS on in just a moment's time. He's using the ERS all. He's going to dump it on the last lap. Everyone's using absolutely everything. It looks as though Becken's also going to go for the move on Peanuts into turn 1. He's going to go for it down the inside, and he's made the move stick. Peanuts trying to fight back. What a lunge by Peanuts! If he can get the car rotated round, this could be absolutely incredible. Devon Young, on the other hand, is pushing it. He's got all the ERS in the world. He's been saving for the last lap and a half, and he's got so much more than his rival coming into the second chicane now. You can just see the straight line speed's not there for him, but using that battery to his advantage, he's going to go right around the outside, but he can't seem to make the move work.
He's looking to get it on the exit and then get DRS, but no, he's parked on the exit off the corner. Devon's going to be furious with that one. He's got another opportunity to possibly get it done, and it's going to be full send. It's exactly what he needs. He needs the Aston Martin to be right in front, and he has no other option than to just use the energy. He's catching a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be equalised, and that is going to be so frustrating here for Devon. The 2 cars in front are so close, yet so far it's not going to be possible, and I think Robbo is going to hold on to get it on track, and it's going to be Becken to get another win this season. Devon can't find a way through. It's going to be how it goes. Robbo comes round the final corner, and he will win the Italian Grand Prix, but Becken wins the Italian Grand Prix. Peanuts to P2, and Devon Young, after qualifying down at the back, has made his way to P3, and there's only a 2 points difference between himself and Peanuts. I will say, I think that's a pretty good race after all that he's been through.
Yeah, Devon having that spin on the first lap, having all those issues, and to claw back to P3 on the podium. Peanuts now 11 points clear in the standings, unless he got fastest lap. I'm not too sure. No, he didn't. So, wait, did he? Let's see. No, he definitely didn't. So, it's 11 points coming into the last race. And it's going to be difficult for Devon Young. Obviously, he can pull anything out of the bag when he needs to, but it's going to have to be a miraculous effort in that last race to get the championship with Peanuts so far ahead. Is it already over, Aaron?
No, definitely not. Especially with Brazil being the last race. We put it at the end on purpose. It is one of the most raceable circuits of all time, and yeah, it will be an epic championship finale that will be going to. Everything is to play for, no matter what the points currently say. Becken takes the win again. 2 wins in the last 3 races, and then Peanuts in P2. Then we got Devon Young, Robbo, Tom Brainer, Stefano, Matt Merckx, Charlie Heischler were the fastest lap, Cookie Monster finishing off the grid, and then DNFing was Sniller and Terence earlier on. We go through the race director just in case, and then we will go through the pit stop section, and then we will be back for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome to the post-race interviews of the Italian Grand Prix. That was a pressure cooker and a half, but this man has taken the top step. Well done, Becken. That is another win this season. 2 of the last 3 races you have got the victory. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you. In the race today, I'm pleased with it. I'd say just me, Peanuts, and Robo for the most part of the race, just chilling at the arrest train. So the race was kind of boring for me, but was an interesting strategy there at the beginning with it's raining but being slicks. So weird.
Oh.
Hmm?
Sorry, I missed that end. Anyway, yeah, that was a difficult race, but you managed to come out on top, so well done. We're going to move straight on to the next one, Abu Dhabi. Not Abu Dhabi, I'm thinking finale, it's Brazil. Is that a good circuit for you? Do you like that?
I'd say yes. Historically, I've been good there, I'd say. I'd hope that I have a good race, because then it would be the last 3 races, if my penalty in Netherlands gets removed, that I won. So that would be a very nice way to end the season. Awesome. But I'd say I have a decent chance there.
Yeah, that would be perfect to prove everyone that you could have done it if you really wanted to. Thank you very much, Becken, and really well done today. Perfect job.
Thank you.
And we move on to Peanuts P2. Peanuts, that was a tough race. As you said this season, Devon always seems to be there at the end. You've managed to finish just ahead of him. Are you happy with that race, or are you hoping that he'd be a bit further down the order?
Well, of course, I was hoping for Mr. Consistent to be further back, but I mean, I outscored him. That's my job. I just need to make sure to just hold on for the last race. I'm glad I outscored him again. So the lead is more like stable than where it was, but 2 points. I was hoping for a little more, to say the least.
Yeah, it's still going to be very close in Brazil, and with Brazil being a very difficult circuit for racing, it can go very, very wrong very, very quickly. Are you looking forward to that circuit, or are you going to be biting your lip a little bit there?
I think I was biting my lip more here because I mean this track it's so easy to make a mistake. I mean you're running so low wings that like in order to get straight line speed in order to maximize the lap time. But I mean this also makes corners compromised and grip levels a little less, which I mean makes it easier for mistakes. But Brazil is the total opposite. I mean you run really high wings, where you're slower down the straights, but corners are more doable consistently without like doing a mess up. But from my point of view, good race, fun one. I'm glad it's over. One more to go.
Awesome, awesome. Well done today, Peanuts. Very, very good job. It was a tough one, but you got through, and we'll see you next time in Brazil.
100%.
And we move on to Robbo is the next one. It is Robbo, the next one. Robbo, you crossed the line first. I'm sure you're going to be very happy with that race. That was absolutely perfect from you. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. The race was good. Quali was good. The pace was there. My final lap definitely could have gained a few tenths. I accidentally didn't use ERS on my first one, but yeah, we move on. And most of the race was just a DRS train. No one was really able to pull away. I couldn't tell you who was the fastest driver on track, really. Like, I got fastest lap, but that could have just been because I used most ERS in a lap. But yeah, finishing first, always good, shows I have the pace. Yeah, shame on the time penalties. I'd usually look and report it because I think one was quite close, but I'm not too bothered at this point.
Was it the wet conditions? Because I saw you go off a Scaria once before.
I don't really think it was. I think it was more just I wasn't in the rhythm. It was turning in too early into a Scari. I think I handled the wet conditions relatively well. I think it was just not enough practice around the track. And obviously it's one of those tracks where if you don't have the rhythm, then you won't be able to keep from those 3-second time penalties. But yeah, overall, very good race.
Yeah, it's difficult, but Brazil, it's a great race circuit. Is that a circuit that suits you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure I've won once, definitely. I remember when Dave slowed down on the final straight to let me past. So yeah, is it a sprint?
It's not a sprint. It is just the final Grand Prix of the season. Pure
Yeah.
and simple.
Brazil's always a good track for me, so yeah, I'll be good there. Hopefully get a win on the final race.
Awesome. I can't wait. Thank you very much, Robbo. Really well done today. Perfect drive, except from that one little thing with the time penalties. But yeah, you deserve a very good result today, so well done.
Thank you.
And we move on to Tom Brainer. Tom, that was an interesting race. The strategy was all over the place. At the beginning of the race, you were pretty much on your own.
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, I knew I couldn't head up with the guys ahead, because these conditions are literally my worst conditions out there. Still raining, but already time for slicks. It's really hard for me to know the possibilities I can go with the controller. So I just struggled a lot. Then in the first safety car, my PC crashed and I just wanted to get in. Was really happy that I just got in right at the restart. But had some game bugs afterwards, like no showing for track limit warnings, or for going into the pit lane, which was really annoying. Like, I don't know how I even got my 3-second time penalty. Yeah, my few stops on the soft were also really annoying, and I think also a game bug, cause I had a new soft tire. But in 3 times pitting, I never got them put on my car, which was just really, really, really annoying. Yeah, and so I just had struggled a lot with the really warm tires in the end. And if I can say something for Devin, his legs got worse compared to the last races. So that's why he couldn't really attack in the end.
Right, okay, I see. So it wasn't safe to do so. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's really, really hard, and not what you want in a championship fight. But hopefully, one more race to try and fix that, and it could work out well. We go to Brazil. Do you like that, Tom? Is that a better circuit for you? Do you think you can get maybe a final podium of the season, maybe even a win?
I wouldn't say it's a better track for me, because Abu Dhabi suited me well, Monza suited me well. Really dry or really wet, which can be really good for me.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I hope it's an interesting one. Weather-wise at Brazil, it always usually is. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort. And we move on to Heisler. Heisler, that was a tough one. Tires all over the place. The calls you're making with the inters at the end, was that the right call? And the safety cars were just bad timed?
Well, my first ever call, going on softs at the start was the worst one to make. They were way too quickly. I thought I'd go on the softs because in real life you have the most grip on the softs in the rain as well. But yep, that sadly went away really quick. So I should have been on the mediums, but because the hards are just too worse for it. And then I was in no man's land, and I thought my tires were fucked. So just pit for inters and see how they feel. Sadly, when I exited the pit lane, the safety car came out, so that was actually the worst time I could get because I just didn't know how the mediums actually felt. So to be honest, I created a little gap with the Delta to see how they actually felt, and I felt like the braking and the traction was just way better, like even way better than the new softs at the start. So it was definitely actually the right call then to go on the inters, but on the second safety car I should have boxed to slicks, but it was just really hard to tell with the conditions we had today. You just didn't know how long it would take until it dried up. It was weird physics, like I was saying in my stream. Physics were not physicking today.
Yeah, well, it's sometimes the way the weather goes, and it was quite an interesting one, but a good experience, I hope. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you got some good data on the pit lane entry at Monza. It was good. Brazil, final race of the season, whether you'll be there or not, is that a good circuit for you?
Yeah, it's a very good circuit. Like you said, I had my first win there, but whilst I still don't think that sprint race was my win.
Your first F1 category win. It was a sprint race.
Yeah. So yeah, I am always strong there. I can always fight top guys because it's a short track, but also because I want to believe that I can do it. So yeah, I look forward to it.
Yep. Maybe let's get that final top tier win. Well done. Hopefully it can go well there, and there's no sprint to haunt you, so it will just be the Grand Prix. Thank you very much, Heisler, and we'll see you next time. Well done.
Thank you. Bye.
And we move on to Terence. Terence, that was a tricky race. Really not the way you wanted it to end, but unfortunately the way it did end. Were you hoping to score some points and try and secure the team's championships today? I think that's a pretty stupid question for me to ask, because I know that's probably a yes.
From my calculation, I think we have 44 points advantage to McLaren and 42 points to Red Bull.
So you've already won it.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
I'm an idiot. Sorry. Congratulations.
But I know it by actually we win by attendance.
Yes.
So yeah, it is quite a shame that I can't bring more high performance to the game. But I I did what I can do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And in this, yeah.
go ahead,
you-
go ahead.
Okay. And then in this race, because I make a 5 race wing set,
Right.
and obviously I don't have wet setup, so it's just I can't control my car in just a little bit dumb. I can't control it, and it's always slides or drift
Yeah.
around the long corners, so it's very hard to control. So that's why I crashed.
Yeah, well, it's very unique conditions. You don't often race wet conditions, or at least light rain conditions with slick tires. So I don't think anyone's blaming you, really. It wasn't like a stupid crash. It was a very understandable crash. So don't take that too badly. We understand. But yes, on the teams championship wise, staying in the battle all the time, both drivers, you deserve that very, very much. So really well done and congratulations. And I will congratulate Peanuts, as I have accidentally made a mistake there on my calculations, so I do apologise, but well done. Then moving on to Brazil for the final time, do you think you can get a good result there? Is that a circuit that maybe suits you a bit better than Monza?
Yeah, absolutely. But it also depends on is it wet or not wet. So I think I can deliver some dry, absolutely. But I still have a little bit concern there in wet or intermediate condition.
Fair enough, fair enough. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Congratulations, Terence, on the teams.
Thank you, Aaron.
And we move on to the final one. Walker, that was a tough race. Conditions, very difficult. Can you take us through it?
Hello.
Hello.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm pissed because the Wi-Fi didn't work today, and was working until the race, so I don't get why it then suddenly didn't work anymore. I think I could have even gotten at least P3. Because I was quite quick in time trial, quicker than I usually am, and I think that would have placed me around P3, maybe even P2. And well, the race was shit as well because the rain actually made it easier at the beginning, but then as soon as you catch up to people, you get into the dirty air and you spin. And that was frustrating. I think what proves my point that I could have been very quick today is that I was lapping over the 7 laps at the end. I caught up Heischler by 1 second on all the tires.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. So the pace was there, but just at the wrong moment, and didn't quite get it. It's a difficult one. It was a very difficult race, so I don't think you should be too disappointed with it. As I've said to the other guys, it was a very difficult race. Brazil, trying to move on to the next one. Final time to make a good impression in this game. Do you think you can do well?
Wait, I want to say one more thing to Monza. I got front wing damage for no reason. Like, I think it was because Tom smashed into the back of me.
Right.
That I got front wing damage, but well, yeah, that's also a reason why I spun later on.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Brazil, I think I'm gonna be shit. So yeah.
I like the optimism. Thank you very much, Walker, and I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. We'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort. Good to see you again. Not quite the result you wanted, but one more to go.
Yep.
And that's it for the Italian Grand Prix. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. It's been a pleasure. We will see you next weekend for the finale in Brazil, and we'll see you on Tuesday for some practice lobbies. Have a good one. Bye-bye.